Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Reverend Barry with the Badass Bandleader Show. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about the 5 things that you must do to promote every show that you do. Why am I thinking about this? Because I just got done doing these things for our shows this weekend. And to be honest with you, I was tired. It was at the end of a long day. I really didn't want to do all this stuff, but I did because it's important to have consistency with our fans. So let's just dive in. And for those of you who don't know me, my stage name is Reverend Barry. I'm the band leader of a band called Reverend Barry and the Funk from Sarasota, Florida. And we've had great success. We're a cover band, but we also do some originals, and been around for about 7 years. And one of the unique things that we've been able to do in the last couple years is we've been putting on our own events. And sometimes we do them actually at nightclubs, sometimes we do them at ballrooms, those types of things. But this has enabled us to make anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 a night selling tickets directly to our fans. And that has been something that's been a total game changer for us. And if you want to learn how we do that, I've got a video that I put together on the process at revclass.com. That's REV as in Victor, class.com. And we just walk you through what that's all about. But back to the topic at hand, it's about the 5 things that you must do to promote every show that you have. Hopefully, you're booked up for this weekend. We've got a couple shows. We're playing up north, about an hour. Been breaking into some new markets, and it's kind of cool to play for new faces. So I'm just reminded that it's so important that your fans need to know where you're playing. I mean, it's something as simple as that, but it's amazing how many times you might hear, if you don't really promote, that you might hear people say, well, wow, I missed you guys somehow. I didn't even know you guys were playing. That should never be the case. The first thing that I would start off with, Facebook. Facebook is the #1 resource that our band has capitalized on now for 7 years. And I'm a big believer that, #1, you should have a Facebook event page for every gig that you have. It's pretty simple to set up. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, that you have a Facebook page for your band. If you don't, you need to get on that right away. Set up a Facebook page for your band. But if you already have that, just go in, set up the event, put the details in there. Now, the venue that you're playing might already have an event set up to where you can go in and request to be a co-host. Now, some venues are not as on top of these things, so you take the initiative. I'd say go ahead and set up the event yourself, and then you can invite their page to be a co-host. That way, the people who like their venue, will be able to see that you're playing there. I used to not make a big deal of this until I started seeing over time what was happening is that I realized a lot of people, even though we had our band's calendar on our website is always kept up to date, a lot of times I would just notice that people, they just wouldn't look at our calendar on our website. It just kind of drove me nuts because I know that our calendar is always up to date, but I realized that they just don't want to leave Facebook. People are just naturally lazy. You just have to look at it that way. Most of the time they're looking at Facebook on their phone. And so, they're looking at your page, they click on your events page, they expect that to be updated. And if your gig's not listed there, they just assume that you're not playing. So I would absolutely create a Facebook events page for every page that you do. But #2, and that's really just kind of a bare basic, but #2 would be place a Facebook ad for every single show that you do. So, and I mean a paid ad. I usually spend $10 to $20 per show. Like these shows that we're doing this weekend, Friday and Saturday night, I'm spending $20 each. I know if there's some people who are going to be watching this thinking, you mean I got to spend money to promote my show at a bar? Well, isn't that the bar owner's job? No, it's not. Let's just get that idea right out of your head. Because #1, the bar is probably not going to do it. And #2, the name of this show is Badass Bandleader. If you want to be a badass band leader, if you want to have a badass band that gets booked a lot, that makes more money, big following, you got to take your own initiative. You have to do the promoting of your band. I realize that there's tons of people who are going to watch this. If you're a band leader, nobody cares about your band as much as you do. If you feel that way, I totally feel you, because I've been putting so much time and energy into my band now for over 7 years. I have this attitude that if it's going to be, it's up to me. You got to think that way. So absolutely, spend money. Now, if you're thinking, well, where's the money come from? Well, the money needs to come from the band. It doesn't need to come out of your pocket. But here's the other thing. Your band is a business. You shouldn't run your band like a business. Your band is a business, right? What does a band provide? A band provides entertainment for people at a venue or at a live, an outdoor show, wherever you're playing, that's what you're being hired, hopefully, to do, right? So we provide a valuable service. Now, I would be the first to say that most venues don't seem to want to pay enough for the service that we provide, but that's another topic that I've had a lot of videos on. We provide a service, so therefore we are a business. We are an entertainment business, and therefore you have to have capital to run a business. No business can run without capital. In other words, money. You can't run a business without money. You need to have money to take care of. Bands have expenses, right? If you have a trailer or some kind of truck that you transport the equipment to the gig, your tire could go flat. You need to have money in the kitty for the band to repair that tire. It shouldn't be upon you to do that. And you should have money to promote your band. In fact, you should always have money set aside to promote your band. Our golden rule is basically 10%. 10% of the band's money goes towards basically the kitty, if you want to call it that. We have an LLC set up, and the band knows that the LLC gets paid first. Everybody else in the band basically gets what's left over after other expenses. That's how we do our band business. But we always have that money that comes in, that 10%, and it's set aside. I manage the advertising because I actually do that for a living. I still have a day gig. I still do marketing in my day gigs, so I do this stuff all the time. So back to Facebook ads. You should run paid Facebook ads for every show that you ever do. If you've never done a paid Facebook ad before, if you've been to the manager of a Facebook page, you've probably seen all those things where Facebook's asking if you want to boost a post. Now that's kind of like the Facebook Lite version of doing it. It's cool to boost posts. It's nowhere near as advanced and robust as using the Facebook Ads Manager. That's what I use. I've used it for years, and it's very advanced. And actually, as part of my, when I told you at the beginning of this video that if you go to revclass.com, that's REV as in Victor class.com, and there's a training in there where I show you how we were able to do ticketed events for our band and make anywhere from $2,500 to over $4,500 a night. I do have a training that I sell as part of that course if you choose to invest in it. And as part of that training, I have a 10-module course on how to use the Facebook Ads Manager for everything. Because I actually have a high-level Facebook advertising certification that was paid for by a previous employer of mine. Employer spent over $8,000 to send me to training. I do this every single day. So you're able to get that Facebook training from me on how to promote your band for a teeny tiny fraction of that amount. So anyway, so enough about that. We've been doing $10 to $20 ads for our band for every single show that we've ever played for 7 years. Most every show that we ever play. And it has paid huge dividends for us. You can look at it's Reverend Barry and the Funk. It's the name of our band. You can look us up. We've got over 13,000. Actually, we're going on 14,000 Facebook followers. It's gotten us more money. You might also be thinking, well, I've heard musicians say this. The club owners shouldn't pay bands based on their following. They should pay bands based on how good the band is and the quality of the entertainment that they're providing for the club's patrons or whatever. That's a romantic notion, but that's not reality. Get that notion right out of your head. Because club owners, I believe, are lazy. They're not going to advertise your band, and they want your band to bring people into their club. And if you just accept that and say, challenge accepted, I'm going to do it, and become the marketer and promoter of your band and get really good at that. And now I'm assuming that your band is actually good, okay? You can promote. It's just like any other business. You can get really good at promoting something that somebody doesn't really want or that's not that great, and it's just going to speed the process at which people find out that you're not all that great. And I'm not saying that to be snarky or anything, but it's true. A lot of us have been to see bands that just weren't that great, and then it was like, wow, they kind of sucked. So, you got to have a great band. You got to have a product that you're proud of, that people really enjoy. They enjoy dancing to your band or listening to you or jamming out or whatever your band is about, whatever your vibe is. If you're able to attract people to watch you and keep them, and that when you get done with and go on break, people are like, man, you guys are kick-ass or you're awesome, that's a pretty good sign. If you have a hard time keeping people, If the people that do wander into the club stay there for a while and then just kind of wander off, you got to ask some tough questions of what you're doing in the band. I'll go over some of that kind of stuff in future videos. But assuming that your band is great, then you as a band leader, your job is to get good at promoting your band. And I'm telling you, to get good at Facebook ads will be one of the most important skills that you could ever learn. And also, by the way, Instagram advertising is included as part of the Facebook Advertising Manager, that same software. You can run Instagram ads from Facebook Ads Manager. So definitely run Facebook ads for every show that you do. $10, maybe 20, whatever. The next thing would be an email list. Now, you may say, I don't have an email list. Get one. Well, I don't really think people use email anymore. Baloney. That's not true. Because how do people log into software, right? Everybody logs into software using an email address. People still have email. Our particular crowd, our audience is very responsive to email. That's when we sell tickets to those ticketed shows, the vast majority of our sales come from our email list. I'm a marketing guy. I track all of this stuff. I know where my sales are coming from. A lot of them come from Facebook, but the vast majority come from our email list. Now, it's not something you can develop overnight, but it's something that you should start developing now if you're not doing it already. Collecting email addresses. I mean, if it's nothing more, in fact, I have a good friend of mine plays in a band. She hustles, man. I mean, when the band goes on break, here's her thing. She actually takes off, the band goes on this instrumental thing at the end of one of their sets. She jumps down off stage and people come up and they'll like buy her CDs and stuff. I mean, they play covers, but they play originals too. And she just says, hey, give me your email and we'll write it down on a piece of paper. I want to make sure you get added to our email list. I mean, she hustles. I mean, she goes on break so she can go down there and collect because she realizes that it's all about promotion and marketing. Build an email list if you don't have one. Now, there's ways of doing it automatically. You can set up email forms on your website to capture, just say, hey, if you want to know when we're playing next, enter your email here. That stuff like that's fairly simple to set up. If you're unsure how to do the kind of techie stuff, go to Fiverr.com, look it up. It's like the number 5, Fiverr.com. Go to Google, look it up. There's people on there that'll do things. They'll put up a website form on your website for $5 or $20, whatever it costs. It's cheap and easy to get people to do this kind of stuff for you. So, all right, so put a website form if you want to have like an automated thing where you can send out emails to people. There's lots of services that do that. Probably the most popular one and easy to use is MailChimp. You can get that for free to a certain number of subscribers, and then it's really cheap after that. Constant Contact is another really popular one. Go to Google and type in email autoresponder or email subscriber list or something like that, and you'll find stuff like that. Put a MailChimp form on your website, get people to start signing up and let them know when you're playing next, or have a sign up list. But you want to send people emails with every show that you do. You don't have to pester them. You don't have to come up with some great copy. It's just sometimes in the subject line, it could be the name of your band and where you're playing, what time, and then give a little bit more details in the body of the email. It's what people just need to know, right? Okay, next thing is a little bit more advanced, but it's something that's worked out pretty well for us, and I know it's worked out huge for other bands, which is a text message list. I've got some good friends in a band up in Tampa that have been around for 17 years, and he says, without question, his most valuable asset is his text messaging list. They have a list that they send out, because here's the thing. You got a phone, you get a text message. What do? You look at it. Everybody looks at their text messages, right? So now the more techie way to do it and set it up would be there's services. Again, you can the service we use is called Textedly, textedly.com. Again, you could Google it, find it. Works pretty well. Basically, you have like a keyword. If you text the word funk to 33222, you get added to our text message list, and then we can send out text messages. And yes, we have to pay for it. It's like $20 a month, and that gives us a certain number of text messages. There's other services out there. In fact, there's a ton of them. In fact, there was one, I forgot. There was one where you started using the other day. It's actually cheaper than that. So there's plenty of them out there. Find one that you like, use it, put it to use. Put the forum on your website. Tell people how to join your text message list. So, all right. So what have we talked about so far? Put a Facebook event. Run a Facebook ad. Send an email. Send a text message. And number 5, and this is a little bit more advanced, but I think it's a good thing that's really taken off, is Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger, a lot of people that have Facebook have it already installed on their phone. And the cool thing about Facebook Messenger is that when you send out a Facebook message, it pops up on their phone like a text message. So again, it dings, they look at it, which they not necessarily do with email. Some people don't really check their email very often, but everybody looks at their phone when it dings, right? So now with Facebook Messenger, you can do some advanced things. There's some things where you can actually send out kind of like broadcast people that have messaged you. You can broadcast back to them, so you don't have to go through do one message at a time. You can do hundreds of messages at a time. So that's a little bit more advanced. There's plenty of training on YouTube and stuff on how to do this stuff. But these are all ways you need to think of it. Well, can I just do one, or can I just do 2? You can, but it's going to be more effective, frankly, if you do them all, right? Or do most of them, because different people communicate different ways. I personally look at email because of my work. I look at email all day, every day. If you send me an email, I will see it. Well, actually, I'll see everything. If you send me a text message, I'll see that. If you send me Facebook Messenger, I'll see that too. But not everybody's that way, right? Some people have jobs where they're just on the road all the time, like real estate agents. They're constantly using their phone. They're constantly looking at their text messages, but they might not check their email that often, right? So you want to be able to catch people in the ways that they would like to be communicated with. This is the world we live in right now, right? Take advantage of this technology. It's cheap. I mean, it's so cheap and really pretty easy to communicate with large numbers of people. And if you're listening to me and you're digging what I'm saying, but you're kind of bummed out, like, well, we don't have this, or we don't have that, we don't have an email list, or we don't have that, just start, right? Because you'd be amazed at what you can do in a period of 6 months if you really get aggressive about it. If you just be intentional about it. But you got to remember and I know a lot of times I forget to announce our text message list, and the band kind of gets on to me about, like, hey, you always forget to mention that. I know, but I do everything else pretty religiously. I hope you've gotten some out of this. Again, I'm Reverend Barry. This is the Badass Bandleader Show. And again, if you want to learn how you can do your own ticketed shows, if you have a following, if you don't have a following, this won't work for you. Honestly, you need to do all these other things that I've talked about, because we didn't start doing this overnight. We did our first event about 2.5 years after we started as a band, sold 550 tickets to our first New Year's Eve show, and made over $11,000. And that was what gave us a taste of doing our own events. But at that point, we had already been doing a lot of Facebook ads. We had been developing an email list. When you have these assets, when you have this Facebook, a big Facebook following and an email list and all that, it gives you the ability to go to that next level, to start doing your own events. We sell tickets direct. The money comes straight into our bank account. But again, I describe that entire process at revclass.com. So to go to V as in Victor, class.com, check out that video. And I do have a training that I provide. I actually work with my clients directly for 6 weeks. You would be on a call with me once a week. My goal is to help bands stop getting paid this ridiculous $100 a man thing for working 3, 4, 5 hours a night in a bar, and start making real money without necessarily even having to change your music. I can help you do that. If you feel like your band's kind of lacking some stuff, I'd be more than happy to consult there. I've been doing this for a long time. But I'm really more interested in just helping bands break through to that next level, to where they have control over their careers and their following and their crowds. Because I feel like these followings are ours. All right. People come to see our band. They will follow us when we do these shows, these specialty shows, and I'll show you how to put those together. Again, I explain it all in the class, revclass.com. Go check it out. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make some comments. Also send me messages or make comments if you want me to talk about other things and other videos. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon.